Look at that. You guys look like the Powerpuff Girls.
Hey, we literally do. Oh my god.
Let's just have 3 Barrio chairs. Let's just make it no, because I know this is going to be terrible.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's like the dark green.
This would be perfect.
Why don't you just have 3?
Yeah, why not?
Jeremy?
I guess I'll go first.
Okay.
Hi everyone, I'm Maria. Last year I was just a girl in the Bell Fishbowl singing Sharon Cuneta for auditions for Barrio 2015. And now I stand before you as your secretary and as an ate and auding in this Kapamilya. I'm running for Barrio because it holds a special place in my heart for being the spark that ignited the fire and passion that I have for this club. My past participation in Barrio has given me the insight toward what it takes to plan it. I love the way Barrio has the ability to draw new members in, establish and strengthen friendships, as well as allow us to contribute our talents to sharing and educating others about the Filipino culture.
Hi everyone, can y'all hear me? Yes? Okay, awesome. My name is Nadine, and I'm running because I think Barrio is one of the biggest platforms for our Filipino community to not only share our culture and eat good food, but shed light on our resilience and how we overcome adversity. I believe that every member of UFC are catalysts for change, and this year, Barrio definitely reinforced that. If I were to become your Barrio chair, I will continue to be intentional with the message we send out to the greater community, because we are more than lumpia, we are more than the stereotypes, but a club full of valuable Filipino-American experiences. My goal is for everyone to all feel empowered and more connected with the Filipino culture throughout the Barrio process, and also have fun. Lastly, I envision Barrio to be like Beyonce's recent Lemonade album, unapologetic, personal, and impactful. I promise next year's Barrio will slay like my contour.
Shit. Okay. All right. Okay. Hi. So I would give you 10 reasons to vote for 10, but I only have 30 seconds, so here's a couple. I'm a strong believer in affirming the people that I work with, so no matter what, I will recognize and appreciate you and all the hard work that you do. I watch a lot of movies, so I want to make Barrio Oscar-worthy. All right. I promise I'm not as mean as Aunt Vic, Aunt Viv, sorry, but my acting shows you just how dedicated I am to be there on time, and I will make sure that we need to get what we need to do done on time, because we're all busy, right? I mean, us especially, like just making sure that everybody sticks to what they need to do in a good amount of time.
So, like Nadine said, one of my weaknesses is being a perfectionist. So sometimes it can be detrimental to my work ethic with how, like I'm the type of person that if I want something done, I like it a certain way. And sometimes I will admit that it gets to the point that like if it isn't done in that certain way, then I would do it myself. So definitely having a co-chair would keep me accountable for my actions, and they'd be there to support me and to encourage me, to utilize the volunteers that we have, to utilize the resources that we have, so that way I don't do the work on my own. As for my strengths, I am the type of person who keeps everything organized. I like to make sure I have everything in check so I don't forget anything. And just with my past participation in Barrio, being like a singer, an actress, a dancer, an officer this year, and a committee chair, I feel that I've seen many aspects of what it takes to plan Barrio. So the internal and the external process of going through the planning and the creation of the event, as well as being involved with other cultural clubs and participating in Lua and participating in Swan. I've had the opportunity to see what works and what doesn't, and the opportunity to implement that into the Barrio for next year.
Okay, next question. With Barrio, a lot of ideas and decisions will come with you and your co-chair, but sometimes they may conflict with each other. How would you choose to address and resolve these conflicts without ruining your personal relationship?
Well, I think that's a great question because I was also considering that in this process of like what would happen if I came up with some idea that I'm really passionate about and want to do for Barrio. And with, I think personally with the themes that I want to do, they can very much mold into whatever kind of advocacy my co-chair would want to provide. And I think it's also important to think of the intersectionality of identity sometimes, because that's really what Barrio is all about, is really digging in depth with someone's identity and trying to dissect what is it with Filipino American, the Filipino American identity. And I just think with what I have right now and what my ideas are, they can easily be molded, and I'm the type of person that can easily adapt to someone's ideas as well. But if I really don't agree with them and think that their idea might be either harmful or not quite what the mission of UFC stands for, then I'll put out on the table, like, consider the consequences of each idea that we have.
I'd like to think of myself as a very flexible person, someone who is very open to compromise and just very open-minded in general. And I feel if our ideas were to conflict, that we'd be able to sit down and separate our personal relationships with one another from the professionalism of the officer position. And additionally, if we are not able to make the compromise, then bring in a third party or even ask for the advice from previous Barrio chairs about what they think would be best, as well as, like Nadine said, to bounce off, that we need to remember that the whole purpose of Barrio is to educate others about the Filipino culture and to make sure that our direction is going toward the mission statement of this club and toward the education of our culture.
So one of the things I wanted to say. So like both Nadine and Jamie were saying, I'm pretty inflexible, so I'm gonna look at a situation, like if me and my co-chair are clashing heads, I will sit down and look at the pros and cons for each situation, right? And like really decide what we want to do from there. But also I want to bring up the fact that Barrio is not just something that the co-chairs put on, it's something that the whole entire club does, right? So everyone's voice matters, and it's not just two people, it's a whole entire committee. So bringing them into play and also really seeing what they want to do and what they think, because in the end it's not just two people putting on Barrio. They're not the only ones participating in skit or dancing. It takes literally the whole entire club. So really making sure that everyone's voice is heard and that we're creating a Barrio that we can all be proud of and that we can all really share together.
Yeah, we have a question. But which one do you want? The one that I asked? Okay, so we have a few questions because the Barrio coaches are usually two pairs. And then we have a few important questions from the alumni that we think will be important. So the first one is, what are some of your ideas for a theme for next year's Barrio?
So I've noticed that our club this year has been we've been very directed toward establishing our identity. Look at our conference theme, it was redefining Pinoy, empowering meaning, as well as a lot of the icebreakers that we started doing in the later half of the year at the general meetings. We're very much directed toward self-awareness about who we are. And so some of the ideas that I had were storylines that address intersectionality and highlighting the stigmas in Filipino culture, such as things regarding sexuality and mental health.
Yeah, so going off of that, I really I see Barrio as a great opportunity to bring to the community something that's like not necessarily like really highlighted, but it is relatable to a lot of us in the sense that it highlights our struggles as Filipino Americans. So like Jamie was saying, something that I really like was passionate about doing is like something related to mental health, because it like Filipino Americans are really like set on the idea that we are resilient and that we can persevere through a lot of our struggles, right? But like, what is it like to like be a part of American society and also like a Filipino American household and like struggle with something that has to do with mental health, right? And then also like something, like I have a few ideas, right? So I've been thinking about this a lot. And so yeah, something focused on the LGBTQ community as well, because that is still something that's like considered very taboo within Filipino culture and even like in America today, you know. And also like, this would be as expected of me, right? But also like exploring something along the lines of like being half Filipino, so like not being considered like Filipino enough, or being too Filipino within American society as well. And I think another thing that I really wanted to do was also like take into consideration what the whole entire club wanted to highlight for Barrio. So like whether that be through an open forum or like sending out a survey or something, just really like taking into consideration everybody else's ideas, because again, it's our Barrio. So yeah.
So both Jamie and Kristen covered it. The baseline for the themes and ideas that I would want is to really educate our club and educate myself as well in areas that I'm not aware of, and also empower our members. So one of the ideas that I had is on a more personal note, and it regards sisterhood. And even though I don't have a sibling, I really look up to my mom and my aunt, who came to America to find the American dream, and I think I wanted to do something along those lines, because those two women in my life have really helped build me to who I am today. And I think if I were to go with that storyline, it would really encompass a Filipino woman's hustle in American society, because I don't think there's enough Filipino American women in our modern days to really represent us adequately, right? When I was looking up like inspirational Filipino women in America, I found a video that says 10 reasons why you shouldn't marry a Filipino, and it was about all these stereotypes about women. And I think I want to question that standard and have this storyline to really empower young girls, specifically Filipino American girls who are not quite sure what they want to do with their life. And I think this would also intersect with the pressures of being that perfect daughter, or somewhat intersect with the colonial mentality that some parents have when immigrating here to America. Sometimes that hinders their progress and hinders their self-esteem, which also leads to mental health issues, which is why like I just want to point out that I feel really empowered already that I'm standing beside two very strong women who represent this club very well, and I don't think y'all can do any wrong with choosing any one of us. So, and additionally, the second idea that I had was more on like the, I don't really know what it's about, but I want to learn more about it. So one of my ideas was regarding climate justice, and if you all have visited, I think he was one of the fathers from Ateneo's, he's the president of Ateneo, Father Villarin, and he talked here about climate justice in the Philippines. And although it's very...
that was too long.
Sorry, it's okay. But I would support the Kapitan, the Cabot Basic Kapitan Network if we did that, and he works on that.
All right.